am so glad you can join us. This video is all about the truth about hypnosis. Lots of people have seen stage hypnotism, which also gives a rather interesting view of how to use this phenomenal power. The truth about hypnosis is really so much more interesting than what we see in the movies. You know, the brain controls everything that we think, believe, all of our habits, all of our behaviors. It controls everything about our body.
Now for the truth.
The brain is absolutely amazing. And you know, hypnosis is actually all in the mind. Hi, I'm Lorraine LaPointe, and I am a certified master hypnotist. It's my pleasure today to explain to you all about how your brain actually works and why hypnosis is so effective. How can hypnosis be used? How does the mind work? This model of the mind is what hypnotists and psychologists use to teach about hypnosis. Unconscious mind, subconscious mind, critical factor, conscious mind. So the mind has 4 basic layers, and each part has responsibilities and protections. So even when you're deep in hypnosis, you'll always be safe because each part works to make sure of that. You know, protecting you is the top priority of each level of your mind. Let's start with the unconscious mind. Medical professionals call this the autonomic nervous system. Hypnotists refer to this as the body's consciousness. It's the essential knowing of how to work your body. Every baby is born with a body that works automatically and on instinct. This inner knowing how to operate the body is the function of the unconscious mind. It's responsible for the heart rate, goosebumps, blushing, blinking, respiration, salivation, even your blood flow. There have been many cases where someone is suffering through migraines or blushing too much, and hypnotists have been able to reteach the unconscious mind to rid itself of the pain or the excess blushing response. Another thing the unconscious mind controls is the body's feelings in response to an emotion. For instance, when you're happy, the unconscious mind releases chemicals in the brain that make changes in your body that we associate with feelings of being happy. We know there are emotions that we enjoy, and then there are emotions that are not really as comfortable. Those emotions are such as sadness, anger, guilt, loneliness, boredom, stress, depression. So we become aware of those emotions that are felt in the body, and that's what we call feelings. The unconscious mind also has a protective part to it. So no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, it's constantly looking out for you, constantly keeping your body going into fighting off infection or creating a split-second reaction when necessary, like blinking as a fly comes towards your face, or ducking quickly as a ball comes towards your head, or even slamming on the brakes of your car when a dog runs out in front of you. So now let's talk about the amazing subconscious mind. Scientists have a special name for this part when it's first forming. They call it the tabula rasa, which means blank slate. And that's because when this part is created, it is thought to be blank or empty. And it begins to fill as you grow and have experiences. It records everything that happens to you. It records every memory and thought, every emotion, habit, behavior, and every belief related to every memory or thought. We believe its storage capacity is absolutely incredible. In fact, we believe it to be unlimited. The subconscious mind is the primary work area for the professional hypnotist. as they use their expertise to help effect change in their clients. With life experiences that you have and all the beliefs and habits that you form, you begin to perform in a certain consistent kind of way. You have a certain way of talking, thinking, acting, reacting to people, things, and circumstances. And this way of being makes up who you are. It makes up your unique personality. Once all the beliefs and habits of your personality, then the subconscious mind does something interesting. It begins to resist change. This resistance to change is pretty good because it is your personality and you'll have consistency. And that's the good news. The bad news is that when you really want to make a change, it can be also really difficult. When you really want to make a change, you either need a lot of consistent experiences drawn out over time, which can take a very long time, or you can use hypnosis for an immediate change. That's right. Hypnosis can have an immediate effect on the subconscious mind and therefore can have an immediate effect on your life. The subconscious mind is also the part that generates emotions. Your beliefs and experiences automatically cause an emotional response within you. And when you believe it's dangerous to climb trees, for instance, and you found yourself later climbing a tree for some reason, even to trim it, the subconscious mind will generate fear in you. If you believe people should treat each other fairly, and then you experience someone treating you unfairly, then your subconscious mind generates anger, and you'll feel, via the unconscious mind, the feeling of anger in your body. One of the most exciting things about the subconscious mind is the storage space and the ability for it to store information about your memories. And we believe, as I said, that is unlimited. Even memories prior to you coming into this world. So unless there's brain damage or disease, can always learn new things. And that new information will be stored in the subconscious mind where it's always available. I'm sure you've heard of people that are 80 or 90 years old talking about when they were young. That information is still there even after decades and decades of time passing. And that information is still available. And with hypnosis, it's even easier to access that wonderful database. Also, the subconscious mind protects you. It protects you against known danger, and it motivates you to fulfill your needs. Now let's look at the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the part of your mind that you're using to focus right now. For instance, you could be looking at the screen thinking, "What on earth is she saying?" Then I could ask you to tell me something about your past, and you can refocus that part of your mind to the past. Or I could ask you to think about something you're going to do next week, and you can refocus your mind on that, all while still using your conscious mind. Also, the conscious mind is really good at solving problems. It can use your past experience to look at current problem and come up with an answer. For example, if you were thinking about how to get somewhere the fastest way possible, you would use your conscious mind to do some analysis and some thinking to come up with the best and most logical way. One of the other interesting things about the conscious mind is that its storage capacity is completely unlike the subconscious mind. The conscious mind's storage capacity is extremely limited. In fact, most people are really surprised to learn that its capacity to remember is limited to only 7 to 9 pieces of information at any one time. This is why trying to consciously to make a big decision or to make a change in your life is really tough. Because to remember everything you have to do to make the change with the conscious mind, it could only hold 7 to 9 bits of information that it can work with at any time. Hypnosis can help you access the subconscious mind to make the changes in your life that the conscious mind just doesn't have the power to do. You've experienced this when you've tried to make changes on your own with the conscious mind, like when you might have wanted to remember to be patient in the morning with your partner or with your kids, and then you find yourself coming completely unglued when your partner can't find his lunchbox or little Johnny can't find his left shoe once again. You really meant to remember to slow down, speak softer, be more patient. But with so many other things that you were trying to remember at the time, and the things that you were trying to keep track of, you just slid back into the old subconscious and familiar programming that you've had all along. To make change fast and to make permanent change, hypnosis is really the best tool. All the parts of your mind have a protective function. So yes, the conscious mind has a protective function as well. It's always protecting you from perceived danger based on what's rational and analytical. Now there's another part of the mind. It's called the critical factor. The critical factor is a comparing mechanism, and it has a really important significance to hypnosis and to you. As information comes into your awareness through your senses, and through your conscious mind, that information has to pass through the critical factor before it can become a belief or a habit within the subconscious mind's catalog of information. The critical factor is the reason why it's hard to change limiting beliefs on your own. When you want new information to come into your mind, the critical factor compares it to what's already in the subconscious mind, and if it matches what's already there in terms of beliefs and habits, then that information goes straight in, instantly and easily, and it reinforces what's already there, making the belief or the habit stronger. But if some new information that comes in is unfamiliar, then it gets stored away in some side folder named things that you know about but don't really affect you. Those things are insignificant and irrelevant. And so the critical factor is really important for sorting into things that are familiar or unfamiliar. One example of this is when you get a new car. Let's say you get a new green car. Suddenly, you notice there are new green cars everywhere on the road. Well, they weren't there last week. Were they? Because the new green car is suddenly significant and relevant to you, because that's the color of your car. Suddenly you become aware of all of the new green cars that are out there on the roads. And that's how the critical factor works. Before, new green cars were not relevant to you, and now they are. So now you become aware of them. Now for a quick bit of general information about hypnosis. According to the U.S. government, hypnosis is defined as number 1, the bypass of the critical factor, and number 2, acceptance of acceptable selective thinking. For example, when your mind becomes aware of information while you're in hypnosis, that information is allowed to bypass the comparing mechanism of the critical factor. Hypnosis allows the new, better information to go directly to your subconscious mind, so the new ideas can affect your thinking in a positive way that you're happy with. This way, you can make powerful change very quickly with hypnosis. And by the way, if you don't like the new information that's introduced, it will be rejected, because it's all about the protection and your mind's priority to keep you safe. Hypnosis is not sleep. If your hypnotist uses the word sleep, it's just a cue to close your eyes and go as deeply relaxed as you can, as quickly as you can. And if you go to sleep, you could miss your session. So if you hear the word sleep, simply go deeply relaxed. Naturally occurring hypnosis might sound strange, and I'd guess that at least once in your life you've been in a car that pulls into the driveway, and there you are, safe and sound, while you've been daydreaming, and you hadn't noticed that you were on the journey at all. Well, you'd been in a form of natural hypnosis. Your subconscious mind was at the controls and it got you home safely. Another naturally occurring state of hypnosis happens when you're watching a movie, as you begin to feel the feelings of the actor. Your body may start to jerk and flex and flinch with the punches being thrown in a fighting scene, or you find yourself crying, as if the tragedy has just happened to you or somebody that you really care about. You know it's just a movie, but the subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real and imagined. It believes these things as if they were happening to you and emotions were generated. Another interesting thing happens in the deep levels of hypnosis. Something called analgesia and anesthesia. Analgesia is a blockage of pain. When experiencing it, you feel pressure and no pain. And I'll bet there's been a time when you found a bruise or a scratch on yourself and you have no idea how or when it happened. Well, at the time, you were so focused that you actually went into a naturally occurring state of hypnosis, and you did not notice or experience the pain of the injury. Hypnotic analgesia is normal, and it's naturally occurring state in all human beings. The deepest level of hypnosis, you can experience hallucinations. People hallucinate naturally all the time. I bet you can remember when a friend or a family member smelled a certain smell, or felt a feeling, or thought they saw something that wasn't actually there. For example, have you ever thought that for sure your keys were on the bench, and when you looked, they weren't there? What did you think? Well, I just saw them there. But there's also such a thing as a negative hallucination, where you don't see, or you can't hear, or you don't taste something that actually exists. An example of that is if you've ever gone looking for something, but you can't see it, even though it's right in front of you. Like looking for the ketchup in the fridge, and you say, it's not there, I can't see it, it's not there, it's not there, the ketchup's not there. And then someone points to it, and suddenly it appears right before your eyes. Because of its effectiveness, hypnosis is allowed to be used in courts in various ways. It's completely safe. And when in hypnosis, you are both conscious and aware. You're never really going to be asleep. It's natural to wonder what will happen when you go to see your hypnotist. Your hypnotist will have you focus on something and relax in order to access hypnosis. No matter how deep you go into hypnosis, you're always going to be safe. You'll always be able to protect yourself. Even if the hypnotist says something you don't like, you simply reject the suggestion. It's safe, and if there's something that you really, really don't like, you can even get up from the chair and leave anytime you want. Hypnosis is safe. It's been accepted by the U.S. Medical Association since 1958. Medical professionals and other kinds of professionals use hypnosis for all sorts of things, from anesthesia to changing behaviors and habits, to sports improvement, weight loss, to stop smoking, to overcome fear, anger, sadness, guilt, and even while taking care of psychosomatic illnesses, and more. Hypnosis is a state you go into upon your approval. It's something that you give your permission for. The hypnotist acts as a teacher, a coach, or a guide, giving you simple instructions for you to follow, like imagining and relaxing. And as you enter into this wonderful, aware, and focused state of hypnosis, please remember, hypnosis is not a feeling. And because it's not a feeling, make sure that you allow your professionally trained hypnotist to determine when and how deeply you are hypnotized. Do keep in mind that feelings like relaxation, tingling, pleasant, heavy feelings can accompany hypnosis as you relax. Anyone with normal intelligence who is willing to follow instructions will be successful and get wonderful benefits from their sessions as they go into a state of hypnosis. Years ago, we used to think that only 20% of the population could be hypnotized, and some hypnotists and even some doctors and psychologists who do not keep up with modern developments in the field may continue to talk about this 20%. But what modern hypnotists who do nothing but study the latest research on hypnosis, what we know now is that hypnosis is a naturally occurring state of the mind that anyone of normal intelligence who's willing to follow instructions can access and make all of the changes that he or she wants to make. Well, that's about it for now, and I hope that if you have any questions, you will jot them down and ask me the next time we're together, and easily make the changes that you want in your life. As hypnotists, we're trained to answer your questions, and we're really happy to do so. I'm Lorraine LaPointe with Head Heart Synergy, and it's my pleasure to help you make the changes in your life that you most desperately want.